very warm welcome to the VAR show, the show which talks about all the best major football leagues detail. Today we are going to connect with interviews and we have Mr. Patrik Andersson with us, who has played for the likes of Malmo, Barcelona, Bayern Munich among host of other clubs, and also represents Sweden for more than a decade. So without wasting much time, I would like to first thank Patrick for coming on the show and coming during this vulnerable time where probably everyone wants. It's not a good time to be precise, and thank you, Patrick, for taking out your time and coming, and thank you and welcome to the show. So I would like to first begin by asking you, how are you and what have you been doing, during this past whatever time period. This, I don't even know what's what to call this time. So what have you been doing?
Since I retired.
No, like our the recent past, that is during this pandemic time. It's almost been a year, close to a year and a half, almost not half, but yeah, almost a year. What have you been doing? How has it been for you?
I've been trying to live as much as normal, but you have to have respect for the pandemic and also to the people around you. But you have to try to keep focus, have a good structure in the daily living. So trying to go to office every morning, then I exercise a lot, and then you spend the evenings at home, as all Swedes at the moment. So, but as I told you, I was really happy when I got the invitation because I have a special relationship to Nepal. I visited Nepal in February 2017. I took part in a program called Dropped is a program where you compete against another team. So it was Sweden against Norway, and you are dropped in the jungle, and you have to find a way back to the civilization. And I remember we flying into Nepal, and then we flew further north of India. Was the setup? I think it was in the Bardia National Park. So I spent
Okay, yeah.
3 wonderful weeks in Nepal.
So could you explain a little bit more? Like I did not know this. Like I think, and many of them in Nepal would not have known that you would have come. How did that happen, and how did you get involved in all this?
No, as I said, I done a lot of TV competing in different programs after finishing soccer, and but since 2000, since that program, I work full time, so now I don't have the possibility. But I got a question. It was an idea from the beginning, a French setup, but then we did the same in Sweden. So this particular year, 2017, we competed against Norway. So on the Norwegian team was Jon Arne Riise, the Norwegian football player playing for Liverpool. So we competed against Norway first in Kenya for 3 weeks, and after each program, one one crew member had to leave. So after 3 weeks in Kenya, we flew on to Nepal and spent 3 weeks there.
So how was
And
your time in Nepal? Although it was in the jungle most of the time, like you said, 3 weeks, but how was it?
we had a base camp, but for each program, we were dropped in different locations. And then we had to, and the idea was to find back to the civilization, to find people. So it was really hard walking in the jungle almost all the time, and you didn't see the sun a lot, and then you had to navigate. But it was really nice, unbelievable
Yeah,
nature.
like you said, like you are based in, I think, like when you mentioned Bardia National Park, so that is like it's quite famous here. Also, it's a touristic location, but I think for you it would be anything but touristic because you all were competing, and I think it was more challenging for you.
Yeah, for sure. But I liked it a lot.
Definitely. So we'll move back to football, and I wanted to ask you,
Mm.
in terms of like football, like how did you get into? I know like your family has a history of football, like your
Mm.
father, your brother also who played. So like for you personally, what was your first memory of football?
Uh, my first memory was following my father to training facilities. But it's to get in contact with sports and also to football. It's a little bit where you are grown up. If you have all the possibilities, facilities to get into sports, that's positive. But for me, I started to play club football when I was 7, then all the way up. But at that time, I could play different kind of sports like handball, basketball, ping pong. And now these days you have to pick your sport in early ages, and also you train a lot more. You know, but for us, if you had maybe a session twice a week, but on your free time you were out on the pitch by yourself with your friends, so you trained a lot back then as well. But when I was 14, I was picked for the senior team, and then I saw my direction. And then with the younger national teams, with my move to Malmö FF when I was 17, I was picked by Roy Hodgson back then. He coaches Crystal Palace, still coaching, and I became professional with 17. But it's all
And
about timing, and that you have a certain person around you who believes in you. That's really important.
you said like how like you were also playing other sport which is not common now, like you were involved in handball and other sport
Mhm.
back when you were young. But was it like something that okay, I have to be in football because I have a like because your father was a
Mm.
footballer and your brother was also, so you would always go, it would be a family bonding kind of stuff, like maybe to go to football? Was it like that, okay, I have to be footballer, like that is the priority even if I'm good at handball?
No, I think you see, but for more, I had to choose because all the tournaments was too many, so I couldn't find the right time. And then it was easy pick for me, but I never felt a pressure from home. My father has always been there to speak with, but he has never pushed me or that. So that was good to have him alongside.
Definitely. And you said, like you have been working in office right now. Like what are you working in right now? Is it related to football or non-related?
No, it's more in real estate and constructions. I work as for one of Swedish largest construction firm called Serneke. So I work as a business developer. So I work in 5 regions from Malmö in the south to Luleå in the north. It's about following the market, analyze and find if there is anything for us to create or build, and create values for the company. I've been working for this company since coming back from Nepal, March 2017. So now, but for me, after being a footballer, you're used to a different structure. Every day you know what to do. So for me, it's important to have the daily structure. I take my car so I don't, what do you say, interrogate with the, the communications. So I have my car, I drive to the office, take the elevator up to the office, and then after work, I train a lot, and then I spend the evenings with my family at home. So, but it's important to have this move, from your home to a different place. As you said, it's been since March, more or less in almost 1 year now. So, but you have to stay focused.
Is it difficult, like like because you are one of like you have had an amazing career, almost close to a century of
Mm.
caps for Sweden, won that Champions League, played for great teams all across the world. I mean, Europe especially. So, is it difficult for you to move out, leave football, and get into something like maybe like what you said, business construction?
It was hard to find. It's about sports. It's a certain tension, and find that somewhere else is not that easy. So I was searching for my way, my new way. And I thought when I quit football 15 years ago, I thought I would make the change in sports, in football, but it was not that easy to adapt to the Swedish society because I was grown up outside Sweden, in Germany, in Spain, with different mentality, and that's quite different to the Swedish mentality. So I didn't really find my way in the federation, in the clubs, because they are politically run different way what I was used to. So I had to build my project, my companies, but in this company now, Serneke, I found this tension to we have started from scratch, and now to see how far we can take the company, that's tension enough for me. And it's also about good values to try to create a better society.
Definitely. And I don't know, like I might be wrong, but are you the only Swedish player to win the Champions League?
Pardon?
Are you the only Swedish player to win the Champions League?
No, we have had Henrik Larsson at
Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Barcelona
yeah,
in
yeah, yeah,
Paris, my friend Henrik,
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
also Jesper Blomqvist playing for United.
yeah.
That crazy game against
Bayern Munich.
Bayern Munich '99, the turnaround in the last minutes with
Yeah,
Ole
yeah.
Gunnar. And then we had a couple of players winning, that format Europa Cupen, the champions. It wasn't the Champions League. We had Ove Kinnvall playing for Feyenoord, then Conny Torstensson and Björn Andersson at Bayern Munich. So I think we are 6 players in total.
Definitely. And like the reason I ask that is like most of the players like Henrik spent a lot of his time outside, and like you generally like when you think of Henrik Larsson, okay, he's Swedish, but it didn't strike in my mind. Henrik Larsson, like everyone knows him, like he's an
Yeah, for
amazing,
sure.
amazing player of the game. So like yeah, you mentioned like the Champions League. You touched on like how in the first one you lost against United. You're not in Bayern Munich. You came after that Champions League,
Mm.
and then but the team was almost same, like
Yeah,
which won the Champions League. I think 2 years later.
after, yeah.
So was there always that thing? Okay, we have to win the Champions League because of what happened, and even the coach was same, so there was not much change. So was it
Yeah.
like you all knew that okay, we are going to win it or something?
Mm. The club hadn't won the Champions League since '76, a long time ago, or '75, I think. And it was a great eager. And Bayern Munich had a really good team in '99, winning the Bundesliga with, I think, maybe 14 points. And then they lost the Champions League, and they lost the German Cup. So the will was still there when I came. So that was really important. You didn't come to a club who was satisfied. So the ego was there, winning the title, and we were pretty close. My first year, losing to Real Madrid in the semi-final. I think we bet them 3 times, 2 times in the group phase, and then we won one of the semi-finals at home, but we lost 2-0 in Madrid, and they won the cup after that. But also then, due to the money today, we were able to have a really good squad with maybe 22 players playing for the country. So we had a really good team. We had 7, strikers on the top level. Today, due to the money, you maybe have 3, but we had 7 really good names. So it was a really good squad. And I remember back then, for me, Champions League is for me it's more important than a World Cup, because I think the top teams in Europe have the best players. As a Swede, it's hard to get all the way due to nationality, but those top clubs, they are able to buy the best players in the world, and also you have to compete throughout the whole year. World Cup, it's maybe 3 or 4 weeks. So, and also back then, I think the way we won it, I think we had Arsenal in the group phase. We won both legs against Man United, won both legs against Real Madrid. So just the way we won it was amazing.
Definitely. And like you said, like how like maybe for or not so powerful footballing countries, like maybe apart from the other ones, it is difficult to win the or go all the way, but you all did go in 1994 1992, the
Mm,
European
mm,
European Cup, and even in World Cup 1994 when you'll reach the you'll
no.
finish I think third.
But
So you all were
you
so close. I think you all lost.
pardon.
Yeah, please say. Please
Uh,
go ahead. No, no,
the
I was
key.
saying like you all were so close. Do you feel sad? Okay, like or not even sad. Do you feel like okay, if we could have won against, I think you all lost against Brazil by 1 goal to nil. Do you
Yeah,
look back and think, okay, that was so close?
it was maybe a little bit unlucky. We played Brazil in the group, and then we had to play again against them again in the semi-final. Maybe if we got Italy, the other opponent on the other side, Italy or Bulgaria. But I I think in the semi-final we saw a really strong Brazilian. They had another level from the group stage, and we had also had some difficulties with Martin Daly. Not he couldn't play 100%, and then we had a Brazilian was dominating the game, but then in the second half, when we felt the game was going to turn, we got our captain Jonas Andersson sent off. So after that, we had no chance.
And do you think I wanted to just add on that like you all drew against Brazil in the group stage, I think 1-1, and
Mm.
even in the semi-final you all lost 1-0, and I think Romario scored in the 80th minute. So that was very close. So do you think
Uh,
like if you all if we all could have played it again, then maybe you all could have won because it was there was not much difference.
Maybe, but back then also the key was before the Bosman verdict, the Swede you had to play in the national team to have the possibility to leave Sweden for the European clubs. So we had continuity in the team. We had strong players playing for Malmö, successful in the European tournaments, and also IFK Göteborg was a really strong team playing, doing good results in the Champions League. So we had a really strong squad playing together from the Olympics 88, World Cup 90, and then I started in the European Championship 92 when I was 20. So the players had played together for many years. So that was our strength, I think.
Definitely. And you played in England, you played in Germany, and
Mm.
in Spain, and also back
Mm.
home in Sweden. So how different was it, like for you to play in the leagues? How were the leagues for you? Like, did you have to adapt a lot according to the leagues?
Mm. When I came, I left Sweden. It was 92, so I was 21 years old, pretty young. And back then, I think it was the first Premier League year back then, and it was a different type of football. More competing. You played longer balls. Today you have a marvelous possession game, but back then it was more fighting. Fighting for every ball. So that's developed a lot. Coming to Germany, it was more an open game. Lot of man against, you played man against man. So if you beat your guy, you had a lot of space. It was pretty open. And then that changed also. I remember when I came to Borussia Mönchengladbach, we played with a classic libero, two man-deckers, man marking. But then after the success from Sweden, we switched as the first team in Germany to play a flat back four. And now today you see every team playing, in position flat back four. So that was pretty innovative, and we had great success the first years with that way of playing. But then moving to Bayern Munich, we still had Lothar Matthäus playing that classic libero, but he played in front of the Mandeckers in midfield. So you had to take care of your guy by yourself. But then we switched after Lothar moved to New York. We switched into more playing with a flat three. And in coming to Barcelona, it was all about your ability, doing the game, the possession, move the ball around. So yeah, but on that level, you have a certain skills, and you're picked, selected to a team to win title, and it's all about that. It's on that level, it's not about develop players, because the players are picked due to your skills, and then at those clubs you have to win titles. It's all about that. And I'm a little bit confused when I hear different clubs that they have projects. What is a project? You don't have a 2 or 3 years. If you don't win titles in Paris, you're gone. If you don't go all the way. So project for me is nonsense. You have to, in those clubs, you have to win titles from day one. Otherwise, you're out. So
I'll touch on that. Like, I wanted to ask, like you mentioned, like how in Sweden you played with a flat back four, and in Mönchengladbach also which they implemented from maybe they were inspired from Sweden. You play in a flat back four, and coming to Bayern Munich was more maybe the traditional, maybe three at the back or any other, depending on the situation. As a player, which formation did you like playing in the most?
it's about winning games. But when you have the best players, you can play all different systems. You can adapt to your opponent, but it's not a problem. And also adapt if what players are available. But all about winning the games. And as I said, all these players are so skillful, so they can adapt to many systems.
Definitely. And like you mentioned, like how every club and league you played was kind of different, like maybe Premier League, which was just starting, which was more direct, maybe long
Mm.
ball.
Mm.
And I'll start with Premier League first. And you were there for 1 year, I think, with Blackburn. Why did you leave Premier League? You didn't like it there, or
Uh, um,
Borussia Mönchengladbach better?
no, when 92, I played in midfield in Sweden, and I played well. But when you compare with maybe in Europe, my positions was not in midfield. And when I moved to Blackburn, I played the first season in midfield. But in the national team, I played center half. And at that, yeah, it changed a lot in Blackburn. Also, we bought so many players. I think we bought around 30 players my year there. But uh, I I don't. My problem was that Kenny Dalglish bought me as a midfielder, but my position was the center half. But we had other opponents for me at that position. So when the offer from Borussia came, it was easy for me to make my pick, and the club made no problems for me moving to Germany.
And like, okay, that is one part. And like you moved, like in Bayern Munich after Borussia, you had a lot of success. You pretty much won everything that is there to win, in at least in club football, and you are
Mm.
playing consistently also. Why did you move to Barcelona? Was it like a step up, or do you think, or was it like just change, you wanted a change?
First of all, for me, there are two clubs maybe in the world who are more like a mythos, you know. They are around you, but you can't touch them really. And you know, when you get the offer or the possibility, you have to go for it. You have to aim for it. And also for me, after spending 8 years in Germany, it was the right time, you know, winning everything. And for me also, maybe it was the last contract for me. But as I said, if you can ask every player in the world, if you get an offer from FC Barcelona, you have to go for it. Due to my contract before at Borussia, I had a long contract there. I had an offer from Real Madrid in '97. Jupp Heynckes, former German, he moved from Tenerife to Real Madrid, and he found I was having holidays in Sweden. I was fishing on the sea, and I got a phone call from Jupp Heynckes, and he said, "I want to bring you to Real Madrid and build a defense around you." And I say, "Okay, we have to see what the club says to that." So I take the first flight down to Mönchengladbach and had a meeting with the manager, Rolf Russmann, and I said I want to leave the club, but unfortunately the club refused, so there was no move. And for me, all been loyal to the club, and okay, it was hard, but for me also in my career, I wanted to see how far I could go, and I thought in Gladbach we have reached the ceiling, you know. The club couldn't go further, so it was a huge setback, because I think to take the last set, you have to have those quality players around you on daily basis to have the possibility to develop, I think. So it was a setback, but as you said, you have to dig in there and do the best. And I got my transfer 2 years later to Bayern Munich.
And moving from Bayern Munich, like you said, like you
Mm.
wanted, like, did the Real Madrid part come again? Like, did your Icons come again? Because they were very dominant that time.
Uh, no, but I said back then, '97, if I was supposed to leave Borussia, it was to go abroad. I had offers from Kaiserslautern and Dortmund, but due to my loyalty to the club and to the fans, so but you know, we were relegated in '99 with Borussia, so I had to leave.
So like how difficult, like you said, like of course every player, like we as fans, we can only say, okay, he could have gone there or he could not have gone there. As a
Mm.
player, how difficult it is, because you have to move your, if you're married, you have to move your family from this
Mm.
place to another place. Like how
Mm.
much of that plays into where you move?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's not easy, because you are in command, and the rest of the family has to just adapt to that. And it's not easy to start up, but um, you have to see it in that way. As a footballer, it's a pretty short life, and you try to achieve as much as possible in this short term. So
Definitely. And like you mentioned some coaches there who were influential, like first
mm,
you in Borussia, who implemented the like flat
back
four, which
more.
was not
Oh,
which was not in at least at
mm,
club level, it was not very common. Then you had at Otmar at
mm.
Bayern Munich, who was again very good, like one of the legends of the game. But if you had to choose one manager who had the most influence on you as a player, who would that be?
I mean, it's different phases, you know, because when I moved to Malmö at 17, we had Roy Hodgson. You know, his way of as an inspiration, and also give you all the tools you need for your game. And he gave me a lot of tools which I could pick from, due to uh, what do you say? Yeah, depending for the Premier League, for the Bundesliga, and also. But then when you move to, for instance, Bayern Munich, I liked Ottmar Hitzfeld a lot, but he is not there to teach me. He has to cope with the team, to pick the right players, the right starting out, and also to read the game, when to do changes. And he could cope with the pressure at this club, but also pick the right 11. And one main strength was also when you do some changes in the game, when you put on new players, it's to gain something. And he had this feeling. So he was really important.
Definitely. Like you said, like how, like you have always mentioned, like how at those clubs you have to win. Like you are there to win, not a project. Okay, like you can't compare maybe, but like Blackburn or maybe even Borussia Mönchengladbach are not that level like Bayern
No,
Munich,
no.
Barcelona. So how
Mm.
much is there a shift in pressure when you move from maybe Borussia Mönchengladbach to Bayern
Mm.
Munich?
The media climate is really hard in Germany. So for me, it was good that I had spent 6 years in Germany adapting to the system, the way of pressure before moving to Bayern Munich. But for me, to compete with the best of the best, that's why I was there, and also cope with the pressure. If I don't cope with the pressure, I have to go somewhere else. So I wanted that, the competing every day in the training session, and then for sure also the games. In Bayern Munich, it's all about you, the team, against everyone in Germany. It's the team who everyone wants to beat. So it's like a cup final every weekend, and also winning titles. The taste of winning. If you tasted it once, you want more.
And like again, like you moved from Bayern Munich, which probably you said was one of the highest at that
Mm,
point, because they had just reached the Champions League final. Like they had
mm,
almost lost by a margin in the last moment. But they
mm,
were like one of the best teams in Europe and in the world at that time. But when you
mm,
move from Bayern Munich to Barcelona, Barcelona
mm.
were not that strong. I mean, like you had Real Madrid who had
Yeah,
won, I think, two Champions League, in the out of
yeah,
last
for sure.
three.
Oh,
And you also had Valencia, who were
oh,
good, in that
yeah,
time.
for sure.
So did you think like it was a risky move for you, because you are going from Bayern Munich, who are on the top, to maybe
Mm.
Barcelona, where it was not that stable?
No, but it was, no, as I said, the main thing was, yeah, to as I said, if you get an offer from Barcelona and be part of that history and club, and also another way of playing, this way of the fast possession spell, to take your game to another level as well. So it was more about being in take out a new direction. And I knew after, Van Gaal winning 2 titles, leaving the club, a lot of Dutch players and Jeremy Littman, and then we had Sarah Ferrer. So it was more about to start building, taking out a new direction. And we had a really lot of good players, but the problem was we didn't perform maybe as a team that good, but that changed a couple of years later. And also when I came in, we had 7 new signings, 8 players going out, they were sold, and then you have to build a new team. So
So like you, of course, your time at Barcelona, you were injured a lot, so you didn't probably have that impact maybe like how you had in
mm,
Bayern Munich. So do you like, how do you look back at your time at Barcelona?
as you said, uh, I had a really good start, but then in February before the World Cup, I got a bad injury. so I had to undergo surgery coming back for the World Cup, but then I got injured the night before the opening game against England, and that injury costed me 8 months of my career. So that was the start of the problems I had at Barcelona. But it was, but I see, for me, I had no injuries until I was 31, so I was pretty lucky, but maybe it didn't turn out that I hoped, but yeah, still I have good memories.
Definitely. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you made 96 appearances for Sweden.
Mm,
Why didn't you make it 100? You had just four more appearances.
mm, but it's just a figure, 96. I've done 151 in total, when you take all the ages. But back then, the contract with the clubs was like that. They could only lose you to 7 games a year, and then you played for sure more if you go to a tournament. So I didn't play all the friendly games, but
Definitely.
if I didn't get injured in Japan, I'd done at least 100. But it's only a figure. You can't playing the European Championships, becoming third position in Sweden 92, and also the World Cup. It's good memories.
Definitely. It's amazing. Like to have your career, many of them who may have got 100 appearances would
Mm.
not probably have had career
No,
like
no,
you. So, I mean,
no, no, for sure.
it's, and I wanted to ask you, we are getting to the end, and I had like last few questions, and one of them is like, in your, you said like how, like, if for you, like, since you're in a sports family, if
Mm.
you were not a footballer, what would you have become?
That's really hard to say, because I made my direction with 14, playing senior soccer at 14, and then at 15 playing for the youth national team. So that was never a question really. But I think I liked school a lot, and maybe I'd studied at the university, and then it's hard to say, but I liked school.
Definitely. And like you wanted to always wanted to get maybe like do something outside of football after you retired. Did you ever plan into getting into coaching or something anytime?
It's also hard after being a professional for 17 years, moving around. The rest of the family has to adapt to and now I thought it was, all the traveling, and it's we have to have a base, as a family, and now it's their turn to do their dream. And it's also hard, we living in Sweden, the level and quality of the football. I can take one example. Take Henrik Larsson, a superb player, tactically well, but for him, working with a Swedish team, all his skill, is it easy for him to transport his quality to a Swedish team ranked 25 in Europe? It can't be easy. Then you have to work with the same quality, and it's not that easy. Then it's only one job in Sweden. It's the federation, the national team. But for me, I've done the courses. I have UEFA two. I've done two of them. Not the last step, because the last step, the UEFA Pro, is 2 years, and then you have to also work parallel with the team, But I've done two of the steps in Sweden.
And getting back to the current, and if today, whom do you support? Like if they're playing, do you support Bayern Munich or Barcelona?
No, it's a good question. It's more about, last time who won the Champions League last time, and last time was when Barca won 2015. Now Bayern won. Next time it's Barca's turn. So it's pretty easy.
And even Borussia Mönchengladbach are doing good this season. At least
Yeah,
they. So, like, do you think like they can win the Bundesliga, or is it not possible?
I I think it's not possible. But when they are doing a really good season, qualify for the Champions League, the top clubs buy the best player, two, three, then they have to start again. And also, they don't have the squad, I think, to compete in three different tournaments: Champions League, the league, and the cup. It's too much matches, They can't rotate, and then you see in the Bundesliga they are struggling. So they do one top year, and then they are pushed back again, and then they go up again. So
So, like, yeah, they did sell their players, in the summer to
yeah,
Chelsea and many other teams, like,
yeah, for sure.
and like, do you think like anyone else can win the Bundesliga other than Bayern? They just buy everyone who is good in Germany, and like they are linked with Upamecano right now, and I mean, it's
But
difficult.
it's not long time ago, when Liverpool outplayed Bayern Munich, and then because they compare themselves with the top clubs in Europe, so stay and and Bayern Munich is one of few clubs in Europe who has their figures okay, taking responsible, and they don't do those big transfers. But now they have started a bit. Otherwise, they can't compete with some of the top clubs. And for sure, yeah, Germany is a market. Also for Bayern, it's positive if you can play by players who are used to the German mentality, lived in Germany for a while. So
Definitely. And like, I have two more questions, and the first of the two is, like, again, this might be difficult, but if you had to choose one moment from your career, which is the most proudest moment, which one would that be?
proud. Oh. If I pick one moment, it's my free kick last minute goal in Hamburg, who decided the championship 2001. As a moment, you can't compare it with anything. But
Definitely.
as a sportsman, is winning the Champions League for me. It's that tournament, and as I said, it's over. You have to perform on a high level from September to May. It's a long time, and also beating the way we did it, with those clubs, Manchester United and Real Madrid, winning all the games against them. So
Definitely. And you defeated Real Madrid in the way to when you all won. So I think in
uh,
the semi-final. So
yeah,
that was
sure.
a big thing.
Uh,
And so we'll wrap it up with one final question. And like, you have achieved so much in the game, as a player. And if you had to give a piece of advice to a young player who's just starting out, what advice would you give that player?
it's about the confidence, yeah. Believe in yourself, believe in your strengths, and uh, keep your own direction. And in football, you are not likable everywhere, but you can have problems at the place, but it can change very fast. It's in a soccer team. It's one guy who uh, who picks the team, and maybe he doesn't like you, but he can be away shortly after, and then you have a new chance. So never quit believing in you.
Definitely. And like, on that note, Patrick, thank you so much for talking to me, and I
Mm.
wish you all the best for your endeavors in construction. I hope you have as much success as you had in football, and hope you can come back maybe to Nepal for one more round of the like of the game that you're involved in, and
Yeah,
I hope to talk to you again soon. Till then, take care, stay safe. Thank you once again.
yeah.
Bye.
All right. Take care. Bye bye.